What's up, you guys? It's your girl Panache, and I'm back with another episode joined by my co host Terry, along with a special guest that we have today. It is my cousin, it is my daughter, it is my best friend, my laughing partner. She is amazing and she does all the things amazing. Her name is Tadiwa. So I'm going to have Terry and Tadiwa afterwards introduce themselves. Terry, say hi.
Hey, everybody. It's good to have you again back on We Brew You Pour. And yes, we are very excited to have the cousin, the daughter. I didn't know that it's her best friend, actually. This is new to me. Yeah, it's good to have you.
She is my daughter. A daughter is a mother's best friend.
Oh, yeah?
Did I say that right?
Hi guys, I'm Tadiwa. I'm the daughter, the best friend, the cousin. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me. So we'll be talking about depression today, and I'm a psychology major.
Ooh, say it with your chest. Yes.
Period.
She is a psychology major and she's gonna be sharing some wisdom today, and we're excited to learn. I'm ready to take notes today and I'm ready to be the student. So today, as you heard, we're talking about depression, we're talking about mental health, we're talking about suicide, we're talking about all things real life. So to start this off, do you guys feel like you've ever been depressed? Because depression is actually normal. So Terry, have you ever been depressed before?
Oh, yeah. Fun fact of the day. My younger brother is called Tadiwa. And yes, the cousin also is called Tadiwa. That's probably the fun fact of the day. And to answer the question, yes, should I say I've been depressed? But I handled situations quite different. So I might say yes and no. I don't know about you, Tadiwa. Have you ever been depressed before?
I have been many times.
Deep depression or just low-key?
Actual deep depression.
Can you tell us some of the symptoms of depression? And how did you notice it in yourself?
Okay, I feel like depression, let's start from what causes depression. With our generation, we're going through a lot of things. With technology and stuff, we have school, we have family, So sometimes you can have depression due to the things that have happened to you before, like earlier on in life. We have trauma, we have, things that just happen that stick to you until you're older. And then when you're older, you're like, oh, okay. So
they finally hit.
Yeah, they finally hit. And then we have the present things that happen now. Things that stress you out. It could be school, it could be family, relationships, blah, blah. So all of those things can cause depression. And I feel like one of the major, signs of depression is isolation. Have you ever realized that when you're depressed, you want to be in your room, you don't want to go out with people, you just want to be in your own shell, blah, blah. So how I found out that I was depressed was overthinking. I used to just think a lot. You would find me, I would be outside, but I would be in my own world. I could be with people, but I would just be in deep thought, thinking about other things, not even present in the moment. That's when I was like, you know what?
I need help.
Yeah, I need help. I need to take care of myself. I need to address this now. So isolation, overthinking, sometimes eating disorders.
Ooh, that's a big one.
And, Panache, I feel like when you're coming from our family, we all eat a lot, so I don't think that's the eating disorder that I'm talking about. Yes, potatoes. No, that's not the eating disorder I'm talking about. The eating disorder I'm talking about is like when you eat because you're trying to, feel that void that you have. You're trying to distract yourself from what's happening in your life. So you're eating more or you're eating less. So if you find yourself eating more or less, when you didn't used to do that, you need to see what's going on with yourself.
It can also be tied to, is it called anorexia?
Yes, yes. So you need to, I don't know if you can start by dieting, but sometimes it doesn't help. I feel like you just need to have someone who's on your back because on your own, even like when we're trying to lose weight, the discipline is just hard. So I feel like you need to have someone. Yeah. And then there's anger and aggressiveness. That's the last one. Have you noticed that, like, when you're having a bad day, you don't want anyone to piss you off, and you're pissing off everyone. You even exactly. You're even like talking back to your siblings, like, "Hey, leave me alone." So now imagine if you're having a bad day every day. So now you are just this ball of anger, bitterness, aggressiveness, all of that. So those are some of the symptoms.
I was actually reading that this is a common sign of depression in men. Number one, being irritable. Number two, anger. And just drug and alcohol abuse. It can either be a cause or it can either be a symptom of depression. And just, yeah, increased violent behavior, that kind of thing. You just want to punch someone, or if anyone starts you, you're ready to go off and pop. Okay, wait. So I want to define depression because I feel like there's a difference between being sad and being depressed, right? So correct me if I'm wrong as the psychology major here. So depression is usually when it lasts for 2 weeks or more. Is that right? So it's more long term. It's not just today you're sad, tomorrow you're fine, but it's long term. Okay.
That is correct. Wow. I am so proud.
Research done. Okay, so let's talk about what do you think some of the ways to treat mild depression before we go into the one that actually needs clinical prevention. Terry, what do you think are some of the ways to get out of a depressed state?
Man, that's a tricky
Yes.
question to ask someone like me. I was actually surprised that being agitated is actually one of the signs of depression. I'm like, what? Really? So that means I was close to being depressed or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I feel like people have got different ways that they handle let me say sad moments, which I would like to then relate to depression, something like that. I actually need to study myself when I am either depressed or not, because I heard a lot there's some eating disorder or eating so much. I'm thinking, no, man, I got my vaccination and the way I was eating was way too much. And maybe it was because of the vaccine. I don't know. But I'm thinking, so if you are really depressed, how do I then go about it? Because already I'm a person whose character is I'm pretty much of a loner, right? I do stuff by myself. I don't go by and be around so many people, and you know that, Panache. It's just a matter of I can be around people for a certain time, even at work. I just plug in my earphones and that's about it. I start doing my work. So when you're depressed, I believe that the best solution is pretty much to talk about it with somebody who would listen and understand what you're going through. I was reading an article, I think you sent me, or was it on a post on Instagram, which said sometimes it's hard for somebody who has never worn the shoes you're in now to actually tell you how to tie the shoes. So it's kind of hard for somebody who has never been in the situation you are in to kind of explain to you how you can get out of it. So the best way that I think you could actually go about it is get somebody that you can talk to. Don't crash by yourself. Like I heard Tadiwa saying, you pretty much want to be alone and like in closed doors and be alone. Try to be around people and actually talk about it. If you can't open up to a lot of people, try to find that one single person that can be your friend or somebody, family member, who actually can give an ear to what you're saying. But because I'm not the expert here today, Tadiwa, what do you think about this question? Because I think for me it was really, really hard to answer.
No, but you did good. You did good.
You did.
So I'm just gonna continue on the talking to someone point that Terry talked about. So I'm just gonna add on and say it's true that you need to talk to someone who's been, in your shoes. And the most important thing is to talk to someone who's in the same developmental stage as you. By that, I mean, you cannot, yes, you can, if the person is a professional, you can go to someone who's like in a different generation and stuff. But have you guys noticed that sometimes when you tell your parents, I'm stressed, they're like, at your age?
What
You
do
are
you have to be stressed about?
exactly. So when you're talking to someone, talk to someone who is in the same developmental stage as you, because it's either they've walked through the path that you're walking through, or they're going through it now, or the problems that you guys have are similar. People just don't talk about it, but people are fighting silent battles. So you
Yeah.
need to talk to someone who can relate. You need to talk to someone who's going through the same phase as you're going through. And then also on that talking to someone part, talk to someone who you feel like, if I tell them something, I'm gonna feel cared for. I'm gonna feel safe. It's not everyone who needs to know your business, and it's not everyone who you're gonna tell your business who is going to accept and not judge you and understand and help you. Some people just be like, "Oh, okay, that's really bad, man. I hope you I hope you get exactly shut up. Exactly." So you need to talk to someone who you feel like, you know what, if I go and talk to Panache, she's gonna accept me, she's not gonna judge me, she's gonna help me out. And then, as much as we want to like rely on technology and social media, I feel like talking face to face, that really helps. Because
It
if
does.
you are talking face to face, that person can hug you. That's why therapy is not done over the phone. And if you're talking face to face, you know how, like, when you want to tell someone something, you're already feeling insecure before you tell them, like, are they gonna take this or not? So if you're there on the spot, you can't cut the call, you can't exit the Zoom meeting, you can't be like, oh, I have to go now. So there's no second guessing when you have started talking.
Yes.
Hey, I need to talk to you about ABC. Now there's no going back, and that person can be there for you physically, because that
There's
helps a
no
lot.
technical glitches.
Yeah, there's no technical glitches, there's no Wi-Fi going down. So yeah, on that, talking to someone, that's something that can help you. And then the other thing that can help you is doing something different. Because when you're depressed, or when you're going through like a phase in your life where you're just having lots of anxiety, stress, you tend to have lack of motivation. You're always tired, you have fatigue, you just want to sleep, so I feel like doing something different in your routine, in your waking up, staying in bed, then I do some assignments or do some work, go to sleep, timetable. Doing something different and getting out of your shell can help you, fight or deal with depression. Go for a walk, do things that make you feel good. If listening to music, watching movies, going out with your friends, socializing a lot, it helps. Going out for lunches, going to play a sport, going to watch a game, that helps a lot, because your mind is not just spending 24 hours on your issues. It's not just spending 24 hours of dealing with things. Refreshing your mind, just being out, exposure and stuff, they really, really help you with your depression.
That is such a good point, especially right now since we are in a whole pandemic. We are on lockdown for a couple of months, and it's just the normal routine was just off. And I feel like I low key went through depression during that time. And there was a semester I remember I just wouldn't make my bed and I never opened the blinds. Yo, I was in a dark place. And I didn't even realize it until I was like, you know what? I need to start making my bed. Like, I realized just making my bed, opening my blinds, it made such a huge difference in my day. And that's why I'm so obsessed with sunlight these days. I just love the sun. All things the sun is for me. So I want to talk about suicide because, did you guys know that about 700,000 people die from suicide every year? And that's one person every 40 seconds. Woo! The weight of that. Just us being on this call, there are a couple of people who have died from suicide. And a lot of people who have family members die from suicide or friends, they say they were happy, he was educated, he or she had wonderful parents, it made no sense, they were active, they were engaged. And I don't know, maybe Tadiwa, you can help us understand. How can someone look like they're functioning well, but also be dealing with depression? And how can we see those signs? Is it possible to see those signs?
Okay. Thank you, Panache, for that. Well, with suicide and people looking good on the outside, and then you get shocked, like, how did this person end their life when we were just together having fun last night? What happens is when, as human beings, naturally, we just want to have this, we want to paint a good picture to other people. I'm a happy person, I have my things together, I have my finances together, I am doing good in school, blah, blah, blah. So when we are going through things, we really do not even want to show anyone because we don't want people to judge us. We don't want people to look at us different. Because you know how even if you tell someone I'm going for therapy, they're like, what? You're going for therapy? You can't deal with that on your own, So that's why people look good on the outside. And that's why people keep fighting their battles alone when they're at home at night. Because they want to look good and they want to be there for other people. You remember on the other podcast when you're talking about I'm the first child and everyone looks up to me. You want to be that person. You want to be that person.
She's a listener of the podcast.
Yeah. You want to be that person. So that's why people don't usually show or tell what they're going through. If you pay close attention to like people and how they're doing their things, you can see these signs. Because I remember there was this friend of mine, she just started to like, instead of doing the things that she used to do, she started to change. She'd be like, I can go out this weekend, I have a lot of work to do. Oh, I can't do ABC, I have a lot of, So I feel like face-to-face interactions are good because you can really tell, this person has changed. This person is not doing the things that they used to do before. This person is not eating the same way. They're not talking the same way. These days they're too chilled or they're too aggressive or what. So we can tell these signs, but we just choose to be ignorant.
So pay attention to the small signs. Terry, what do you think about that?
Pretty much, I'm actually getting to understand a lot of stuff through this podcast today. I want you to imagine somebody who is going through some stuff and they out there, they are painting a good life and a good picture and a happy person, but deep inside they're actually dying. What I think is it's high time that people discover themselves and note that life is pretty much not about pleasing people and then you just have to go out of your way and then just do whatever people wants you to do and whatever that is expected of you. Remember, we spoke about culture in the previous episodes. A culture expects a certain somebody. Let's say a culture expects a man to do certain things. I think that was Gender Roles podcast. So imagine when the culture expects you to present yourself in a certain way, but deep inside you, when it's eating you, it's high time people discover that and discover themselves and actually go out and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do me to serve me. Because the more, imagine you're trying to do to please people who are 50, 60, 70, 80, and you're only 21 or 25. Then the end of the story is you realize that a young person committed suicide and you're thinking, why? What? Because I'm busy trying to please the people who have lived their lives. Do you think somebody who lived their life 20 years ago at 25 would actually come out and be like, when I was 25, I was also trying to please people, but then I decided not to do it because of A, B, C, D? They would never do that. But what they do is just bringing pressure to the younger generation. It's a thing that happens because the expectations are high. So, as for me, and what I think is to every listener out there, discover yourself. Be you and make sure whatever you do, especially when those suicidal moments comes in your mind, just know that you need to do things that can save your life. There's definitely a lot more good things that can happen in the future in your life. So yeah.
That is so true. Yep, totally agree. So I'm gonna briefly talk about like types of depression. I'm not gonna mention all of them. There are about 9 of them, but I wanted to mention the ones that I thought were, you know, happening more. So there's situational depression, which is based on changes that are happening. So it's brought on about events such as illness, death, divorce, graduation. That was surprising, but it makes sense. Like whenever there's a change in someone's life, a job change, retirement, unemployment, it could lead to depression that usually is triggered. And there's seasonal depression, mostly during winter, and I totally understand that because winter is just depressing. There is premenstrual disorder, and this is more severe than just PMS. It becomes depression when it affects your day-to-day functions, and it also if it leads to thoughts of suicide. There is prenatal depression or postpartum depression that happens to pregnant women or even women who have given birth. I also had a story about a man who was talking about how when his daughter was born, he low-key wished that she was dead. And I felt that story, yeah.
What?
It sounds extra, but he was admitting that he just felt depressed. Like he didn't know where those thoughts were coming from. And that's kind of what happens with postpartum depression, where mothers can also wish to harm themselves or harm their babies, or they can just be sad. And there's bipolar disorder. It's just excessive where you have it's when well I guess this is kind of what's happening to Kanye West, where you have intense periods of happiness where you're just crazy creative, life is lit, and apparently that's when like your creative energy is up. So Kanye writes his albums and stuff when he's on that high, and then you have like a low where you're just down and depressed. You can look like you're functioning with depression, but you're really not. And it has little to do what's happening around you. So you can't say, oh, they have the perfect job, they have the perfect life, because you really don't know what more there is to it. Sometimes it's caused hormonal, sometimes it's just a lot of things going on in people's lives. And depression usually just makes people's daily tasks difficult. But I would like to say that you're not crazy, you're not alone, we're here. Find your support system. As Tadiwa said, find someone who is safe, someone who you feel safe talking to. And I'll have Terry tell us some last words, and then Tadiwa give us her psychology major conclusion.
Yeah. I have a question to you guys. Do you think that our parents' generation never really do understand what we go through now? Just a quick question, a quick response. Do you think that they never really understand us? Or they never understand the things that we're going through?
Our parents, they do understand, but to them, I think the reason why they give that, that reaction when we tell them is because to them, they didn't start experiencing these things when they were like 18, 19, 24. They started having these problems when they were like in their 30s. So that's why they're like, they don't even want to talk about it because they feel like you're going too fast, Slow
they
down.
They even don't know how to deal with it too.
Exactly. So they do understand, because I feel like sometimes I can even talk to my mom and she'll give me that first reaction that, hey, at your age. But then later on, she's like, okay, let's talk about this. because they have been through life. They know we're living the same life. We're all in the same globe. So they do understand what we're going through, but we just need to give them time. And I feel like they need to be more patient with us. And yeah, we can have those conversations with our parents. We can.
There's more pressure to just put up this perfect life. So older generations didn't have the internet. Movies were limited, but now all we see is movies, all we see is this perfect life. But then you aren't living that perfect life, and you're like, what is wrong with me? Why don't I look this way? Am I supposed to be looking this way? Why do I feel this way? Why isn't my life Instagram perfect? Why isn't my life caption perfect? So it's a lot coming at us at once. But Teddy was totally right. They have gone through it and they do understand it, but it's different now.
Okay, that's a great answer. I don't have anything to say because of time being jealous. In my last words, I would say, I think Panache before used to ask me why I never had an Instagram account. I I believe that in the back of her head, she thought maybe, it's probably those scandalous people who's run away from people. And then eventually, Shalom opened the whole Instagram on my phone without me knowing. And the next thing is people are following me and I'm getting emails that are updating me that I have an Instagram account. What did I have to do? And then I just had to start following people. My point is, if you can, because today's world is determined, or today's world past is determined by what we see. So whatever anybody and anyone is posting online, even if it's not their life, it's something that's going to get to me and be like, oh, if they are waking up and the first thing they do is their face routine and they go and grab coffee, so I'm going to think this is the best lifestyle that has to be done, or this is a standard lifestyle that a good and a rich person or whatever has to do. As for me, I totally believe that. Oh, and the other thing is, most people are looking for advisors on social media. Not every advice should be taken into consideration. And at the same time, when you post for advice, some people really post asking really, really genuine questions. But you'd be surprised to see the responses. There's someone's like, Shamar, go kill yourself. Or somebody be like, whatever you're doing is nonsense. And then you actually begin to wonder, where is the humanity? Where is the whole being human going at? So be careful with what you see online. Remember, whatever you Google was also uploaded by somebody who just wanted to give out some information. I think I was watching some movie with Panache the other day of a girl who had to wake up in the morning, and before she wakes up, she gets up, does her face makeup and whatnot, and then she switches her phone. The first thing she does is start recording herself in PJs, and I'm thinking, how perfect would be somebody coming from bed and already they have makeup and they look already good. So it's a thing that we always put pressure on ourselves, yet it's a thing that's not even real. And then the last point is, so I found out recently on the internet that, as I've mentioned, I'm a person, when I'm going through a situation where I'm like working so much and whatnot, I just go outside the house and take a walk, right? It's something that refreshes me, and actually Google is confirming this. So it says regular exercise can boost your mood if you have depression, and it does that, especially useful for people with mid to moderate depression. So if you're going through this, you can actually, if you're going through depression or if you've got stress and anxiety, body activity can actually help you to reduce it. So it plays a role in developing the mental health. So really just take some time to exercise, even inside your room. Do those 8 minutes exercise. Make sure your body is doing something and is occupied with something. Those are my last words. Over to you.
So when the depression, continues for a longer time than you thought it would, I think it's good to like get a professional. It's good to talk to your family, friends, but get a professional. Set up some meetings. It's really good to go for therapy, and you find out because these people don't judge you. These people are really nice. They're really welcoming. And you can also get, if it gets really bad, but don't go and get these pills on your own. You need to go, to a doctor first, or after your
Great
therapist
point.
advises you to do it. And then you go and get, antidepressants. They help you calm down. They help you, ease your mind. They help you sleep better, You can even start with like sleeping pills because some people don't sleep when they're depressed. So yeah.
Yeah.
So my concluding, advice for everyone is, it's better. I would rather listen to what you have to say than attend your funeral. Please remember that. We would rather listen to you. Would rather spend hours listening to you than attend your funeral. Ending your life is not the best option. It really isn't an option at all. So,
Preach.
just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. I feel like even if you feel like you're the only person going through something, YouTube can actually help. Other people are going through the same things that you're going through. Go on YouTube, watch some videos, go on TikTok. I feel like most people watch TikToks these days. Search up exactly what you're going through, and you feel like you have other people. You won't feel as alone. So I just wanted to say I love you all, and all the best to everyone who is going through something right now. And yeah, together we will conquer this.
Powerful last words spoken like a true professional. Well, Tadiwa, it's clear that you came prepared and you delivered. And we're so happy that you were part of the podcast. To be honest, we need to continue this talk, so we just might continue it. But it's also important to know September is the World Suicide Prevention Month. So have conversations with people in your life. If you hear someone say that they're miserable, don't just laugh. Dig deeper into it. Find ways to help them. And even if you don't know how to approach it, sometimes just being yourself and listening is enough for that person to feel like they're not alone.
Yes,
For those
continue.
of you who are spiritual, I feel like praying and listening to worship songs, and it really, really helps. It really helps.
He is our therapist. No, he is, but sometimes you need more, and you also need someone to guide you to him. So, yeah. But, thank you guys for joining the podcast. We appreciate you. You're our family, and you're the loyal ones. You're the real ones. We love you, Terry, Tadiwa.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, you guys. Love you. Have a good day. As always, like, subscribe, follow us, comment, share, go into our inboxes, talk about it. Let's do this. We're all in this together. Love you guys. Have a good week. Until next time. Bye.